hypothalamus controls all secretions of the pituitary gland. On the anterior pituitary, through its connection, it will regulate the thyroid functions, adrenocortical secretions, and the gonadal functions. It controls adrenal medulla via its influence on the sympathetic output, whereas the posterior pituitary is under the direct control. Therefore, the hypothalamus is also called as the master of endocrine orchestra. Now let us see the integration with neural structures. So the hypothalamus is present below the corpus callosum and below the thalamus. Therefore, it is the primary link between the nervous and endocrine systems. It receives the information of sleep wave from the reticular activating system, pain from thalamus, higher functions from the neocortex, behavior and emotions from the limbic system, whereas visual information from the eyes. With this input, it will modify the anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary secretions. Now let us see hypothalamic hormones. So the thalamic hormones are secreted from various hypothalamic nuclei. Main focus should be on the paraventricular nucleus, on your arcuate nucleus, and your superior supraoptic nucleus. The hypothalamic hormones act on your anterior pituitary and the posterior pituitary, whereas there are some other hormones that are directly secreted by your hypothalamus. Let us see the anterior pituitary regulating hormones. These hormones stimulate or inhibit the release of various hormones from anterior pituitary gland. These are the peptide hormones, therefore they act on the target cells through the CAMP and IP3 secondary messenger system. So this is a basic overview of the anterior pituitary hormone under the influence of hypothalamic hormones. The growth hormone is stimulated by the growth hormone releasing hormone, whereas it is inhibited by the somatostatin. The thyroid stimulating hormone is under the control of thyroid releasing hormone. The adrenocorticotropic hormone is under the influence of corticotropin releasing hormone. The luteinizing hormone and the follicular stimulating hormone is under the influence of gonadotropin releasing hormone, whereas the prolactin is under the stimulation of prolactin releasing factor and it is inhibited by the dopamine. So here is the table I generated so that you can easily study hormone, its source and functions. Starting off with thyrotropin releasing hormone. So the thyrotropin releasing hormone is an oligopeptide containing 3 amino acids. It is derived from the paraventricular nucleus. The main function of the thyrotropin releasing hormone is the secretion of TSH or the thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, it expresses the alpha and beta subunits of the thyroid stimulating hormone. Apart from the release of thyroid stimulating hormone, it also promotes the secretion of growth hormone and prolactin. Coming next to the corticotropin releasing hormone or the CRH. It is a polypeptide containing 41 amino acids. It is released from the paraventricular nucleus. It stimulates the secretion of adrenocorticotropic hormone and it also stimulates the expression of opiomelanocortin genes, which is part of our brain analgesic pain regulation system. The gonadotropin releasing hormone is a peptide containing 10 amino acids. It is secreted by your arcuate nucleus. It mainly acts on the luteinizing hormone. It secretes luteinizing hormone and also stimulates the secretion of follicular stimulating hormone. Apart from that, there is accessory function of secretion of growth hormone. Growth hormone releasing hormone. So there are two forms in humans. First, containing 40 amino acids and other containing 44 amino acids. It is also released from your arcuate nucleus. As the name suggests, it will secrete growth hormone. It will stimulate the secretion of growth hormone. Coming to the prolactin releasing factor, PRF. The source of this hormone is currently unknown, but as the name suggests, it will synthesize and secrete the prolactin. Now coming to the inhibitory hormones. Somatostatin. It is the growth hormone inhibiting hormone. Okay, it is a peptide containing 14 amino acid. It is derived from the anterior paraventricular nucleus. It inhibits the secretion of growth hormone, TSH and prolactin. So it is antagonist to your thyrotropin releasing hormone. Next is your dopamine. Dopamine is prolactin inhibiting hormone. It is derived from the arcuate nucleus. It is having similar function like the somatostatin. Only the source is different. Again, it inhibits the secretion of growth hormone, TSH, and prolactin. So it was all about your anterior pituitary regulating hormones. Now coming to the posterior pituitary hormones. The ADH and oxytocin are not synthesized in the posterior pituitary. They are synthesized in the supraoptic and paraventricular nucleus of hypothalamus and then stored in the posterior. Now coming to the other hypothalamic hormones. These are neuropeptide Y, orexin, MCH, which is the melanin concentrating hormone, cocaine and amphetamine regulated transcript, CART, and ghrelin. Now this hormone, ghrelin, is mainly secreted from your GIT and less from the hypothalamus. Now all these hormones are mainly involved in the control of your ingestive behaviors, like the amount of food you take, and the regulation of body weight and composition. So here's the table, summarized version. Okay, so this is the hormone neuropeptide Y is made up of 36 amino acids. The cell bodies of the neurons secreting this hormone are present in the arcuate nucleus, whereas the axons are in the paraventricular nucleus. Now what are the features? So it is the principal neurohormone that stimulates food intake. The level of neuropeptide Y increases while feeding, whereas it decreases during the cessation of feeding. Orexins. Now orexins are of two types, alpha and beta. They are secreted from the lateral hypothalamus. They also stimulate the food intake. The next hormone is your melanin concentrating hormone, or the MCH. It is a 19 amino acid hormone. It is secreted from your pituitary, lateral hypothalamus, and zona incerta. It increases your food intake. The receptors for the MCH are present in hypothalamus. The next hormone is your cocaine amphetamine regulated transcript. The source of it is unknown. It inhibits your food intake. So it was all about the other hormones of your hypothalamus. Coming to hypothalamo-pituitary axis. The hypothalamus connects with the anterior pituitary gland by the means of blood vessels. This is the portal hypophyseal vessels. And it connects with the posterior pituitary gland by the means of neurons. This is called the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. So this is the basic diagram I got from the GK Pal book. Okay, this is your adenohypophysis and this is your neurohypophysis. As you can see, the adenohypophysis establishes connection with the hypothalamus by the means of blood vessels. Okay, whereas for neurohypophysis, the connection is purely from the nerves. These nerves form your hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. Now let us see each of them in detail. The anterior pituitary and hypothalamus have vascular connection. The anterior pituitary develops from Radke's pouch, which is an invagination from the roof of pharynx. The portal hypophyseal vessels create a direct vascular link between the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. Now let us see the parts of this portal hypophyseal vessels. First, we have the primary capillary plexus. It arises from the capillaries on the ventral surface of hypothalamus and it derives blood from the superior hypophyseal artery. As you can see in this diagram, this is your primary plexus of capillaries and it is deriving blood from your superior hypophyseal artery. Next, we have the portal hypophyseal vessels. The capillaries drain into the sinusoidal portal hypophyseal vessels. These long vessels carry blood down to the pituitary stalk to the anterior pituitary, ending in another set of the capillaries. So this system is a true portal system as it begins and ends with the capillaries without passing through the heart. As you can see, this is the primary plexus of capillaries. This is your long portal hypophyseal vessel and this is your another set of the capillaries, right? And then through the short portal vessel, it will connect with the another capillary plexus present in your neurohypophysis. So it begins in the capillaries and ends in the capillaries. Coming to the hormone transport, the releasing hormones from the hypothalamus reach the anterior pituitary by the hypophyseal portal circulation. Now, therefore, these hormones are called hypophysiotropic hormones. Now, hypophysiotropic hormones are synthesized in small hypothalamic neurons, which are the parvocellular neurons. Axon terminals contact the capillary network in the median eminence and infundibulum, giving rise to the long portal vessels in the pituitary stalk. So this is the point of contact of your nucleus. Okay, this is the point of contact, and here these hormones will be released. Coming to the blood communication, the short hypophyseal vessels connect the capillaries of anterior pituitary with those of the posterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary derives blood from the inferior hypophyseal artery. So here we can see the short hypophyseal vessel connecting the capillary of the adenohypophysis with the capillaries of the neurohypophysis, and the neurohypophysis deriving its blood supply from the inferior hypophyseal artery. That was all about the portohypophyseal vessels. Now coming to the hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. The hypothalamus and the posterior pituitary are connected by a neural pathway. Okay, so the posterior pituitary develops as an invagination of the flow of third ventricle and consists of nerve terminals originated from the supraoptic and paraventricular nuclei of the hypothalamus. Okay, now the cell body of these neurons are larger than those of the other hypothalamic neurons. Therefore, they are called the magnocellular neurons. Coming to the axonal pathway, the axons of these cell bodies descend to terminate on the capillary bed in the posterior pituitary. This forms your hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. So this is it. As you can see, the axons are terminating directly over the capillary bed, and these form your hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. Okay. Then the neurohypophysis. Due to its neural origin and connection, the posterior pituitary is also called as the neurohypophysis. Now let us see the termination of fibers. Most of the fibers from the supraoptic nucleus terminate in the posterior pituitary. But for paraventricular nucleus, some of the fibers terminate both in the posterior pituitary and the median eminence. Okay, in this diagram it's not shown, but some fibers terminate over the median eminence as well. So that was all about your hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.